Hi, friends. My name's host Eric. I'm the host talking with Finnish people. I've got some pretty important news. I've woken up this morning with an itchy anus. Pretty itchy. I've been scratching it. When I scratch my anus, I say, "Oh, itchy, itchy anus," like that. Or, "Oh, so itchy." Ah. There, that's better. What should you do if you, like me, have woken up with an itchy anus? Scratch it. That's what you should do. No point in just letting it itch indefinitely. That would just be foolhardy. So I didn't get as much sleep last night as I would have liked to have gotten. But I woke up anyway. And I just couldn't go back to sleep, so I said, fuck it. Got up, took a few Adderalls, and it was time to pull a few bowls. Insane OG, this is called. We'll find out just how insane it is. My concern is that it might actually be quite sane. That happens sometimes when I have excessive sanity in my weed. I put that bud right there. All right, so another good treatment for itchy anus syndrome is smoking bowls. If you like me have woken up with an itchy anus, I've got a prescription for you. Smoke a bowl. I'll tell you something. I miss my angel bottoms. There's a hole in my heart, the exact size and shape of Rachel Lapalosa. I await her return to my life. I need her. She completes me. I'm currently incomplete. With the addition of one Rachel Lapalosa, I shall be completed. Being a fan of completion means liking it when things are complete and opposing incompletion. If you love complete things and hate incomplete things, you're going to love the act of completion. Yes, completion. The way things go from incomplete or incomplete to mega complete or ultra complete. Do we have any fans of incompletion here? I hope not. You know how I feel about that, right? I oppose incompletion. So please, bring only complete things here. Now, one thing we can all agree on is that life is difficult and challenging sometimes. Certainly I can agree with that. I wouldn't bother disagreeing anyway. Well, why not? Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Oh, that's pretty good. I like that Gorilla Glue. Actually, Gorilla Clover it's called. Where's the clover come from? I don't know. I feel. Blah, 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 blah. That's what I feel like. Whatever emotion that is. Blah, 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 blah. That's my emotion. My favorite emotion. I've been studying emotions for years now, and finally, I've learned something about them. I've learned that they produce an itchy anus. Nobody likes an itchy anus. I mean, almost nobody. There's old Itchum McAnus, but he likes an itchy anus. Itchy McAnus butt is a huge fan of scratching his own anus. I see I got one other fan of anal itching here. Welcome. Is your anus itchy this morning? Is that why you decided to tune in? You really resonate with the topic? No? Yes? Hard to say, I guess. I'm going to smoke this bowl now. Oh. That's a wake-up call from the Bong Hit Brigade. So, today we're talking about personality type and anal itching. Do they correlate? Which type is most likely to have an itchy anus? And which type is least likely? Which type has the most obvious solutions in place for itchy anus syndrome? And which ones have no solutions in place? I would argue that the ISFP is particularly prone to itchy anus syndrome due to their dominant function of extroverted anus. I guess introverted anus is more likely to itch than extroverted anus, but it's hard to say. The topic doesn't get discussed very often. What happens when your butthole itches? Are you doomed to a life of itchy anus, or is there a solution? Turns out there's a solution. Scratch your anus. Scratch it well. Scratch it with your scratching finger. Pretty important. But don't scratch it directly. That's gross. You want to have some pants on between your finger and your anus. Otherwise, you're going to get anus on your finger. Nobody wants anus on their finger. Except Fingery McAnus, who loves getting anus on his finger. this does not seem to be perhaps the most popular topic ever, which I can understand. I mean, I guess not everybody suffers from itchy anus syndrome. Maybe they don't relate. Maybe it doesn't resonate universally. Maybe there's a lot of people out there going like, no, Eric, I don't want to watch a live stream about your anus. That's fair. I understand. That makes sense. Maybe it's time to get this party started, huh? I don't know. Could be time to get the party started. Maybe if I start dancing, others will. Loop of Sleeping Kitty. What a loop of Sleeping Kitty is. Huh. It's kind of good. Sleeping Kitty loop, huh? Welcome, everybody. That's to you, number one person who's here. Welcome. My name's host Eric. I'm the host of this party. Well, let me start by telling you a story about how nobody showed up to my party. I held it early in the morning on a Wednesday. Nobody showed up to my party. I wonder why not. It's 6 in the morning on a Wednesday. Hot time to have a party. Come on, everybody, let's take Molly and roll. Yeah, y'all. Where are you at? What you doing? Early on a Wednesday morning once in March, I called everybody, said, let's have a party. But nobody came and nobody heard me. And I rapped in that handstand, I was alone. Hi there, Eileen, what you doing? Do you know what I'm doing? I'm having a Wednesday party. Welcome to my Wednesday party. Welcome to a Wednesday morning party. Hello, you say. Hi, Eric. I said, hello, Eileen. What's your name? Is it Barrick? I don't think so. That's why you came to my very exciting show. Yes, it's an exciting show. My show is exciting. I'm just sort of killing time right now, waiting for the drugs to take effect. I'm waiting for the Adderall that I took long ago, not very long ago, about 15 minutes ago, to hit and go, go, go. I don't know, no, because I have started it at 6 in the morning on a Wednesday. Not the best time to live stream, I suppose, if you want to be audience friendly. Those people who would watch it are normally at work or at Cindy's house or someplace like that. Yeah, makes sense, makes a lot of sense. Nevertheless, I live stream again. Here I am on the internet. When Eileen goes to check her computer, then she'll see that I am live streaming. Where I am live streaming again on the computer and the internet. When Eileen comes, she will check and see I am live streaming. Yes, it's me. Hello there, I'm live streaming again. My name's Eric and I live stream when I want to wake up so early in the morning. Then I go and say I want to go swarming. I don't know, Eileen. It's a good question. Why am I awake so early in the morning? Well, let me tell you the answer. I went to bed fairly late last night, but not super late, which is kind of great. But then I woke up maybe 5 hours later. In the morning, it wasn't that late. Here I am. I tried to go back to sleep. I couldn't go back to sleep, so I wept. And then I started live streaming, seeping my moisture upon everybody out there. Okay, so that's my story. You can only sleep 3 hours per night. I'm haphazard. I'm haphazard like the Dukes of Hazzard. Every morning when I can't wake up, when I wake up too early, I put on my Daisy Dukes, I get in the General Lee, and I say, God damn it, why is my sleep so haphazard? Hi, Steely Bob. How you doing? I appreciate your lamau. So, Steely Bob, did you come today because you want to know what to do when you have an itchy anus? Good morning. My name's spelled with a C, though. You're talking about Eric Thor. He's an INFJ. Eric Thor is an INFJ. That is what I have to say. Eric Thor is an INFJ. Yeah. I don't have scabies on my butthole. Tom Jickelson, though, not a bad guess indeed. I think my anus might have that COVID virus. In fact, it's infected with pee. I don't know what happened, but tuna got my anus all itchy and stuff. It's quite possible, I guess, maybe I didn't wipe well enough yesterday. Nah, I'm pretty diligent about that. I like to wipe until I see nothing else on the paper. Right? You know, it's like the paper comes out completely clean. If there's one little speck of poo on the toilet paper, I gotta go back for another wiping. You know. Eric Thorson is an INFP. That's what he says now. He's not an INFP. People these days, I tell you. I tell you, people these days, huh? Yeah, any INTJ predictions? Do you predict that Eric Thor will turn into a goose? Why a goose? Nobody knows. So yeah, I'm feeling like scattered, kind of floating, kind of in limbo, kind of undecided, kind of spread out like a lady in a pornography magazine. Kind of, you know, all those things. Tom Jickelson. Are you Jocelyn Eileen? Are you jostling her jiggles? I think you might be Tom Jickelson. Don't be jostling my jiggles unless you're serious. I said, don't be jostling my jiggles unless you get your wish. Well, he's a jiggle jostler. You know, that's what he does for a living. Scabies. I did have scabies once in college. We had to. The whole house had to, like, it was crazy trying to get rid of those things. We managed to, though, successfully. Pretty gross. Pretty gross. Also a good nickname for a loved one. Scabies. Come here, Scabies. Would you like that as a nickname, Eileen? Would you like it if I called you Scabies? Hey, look, Scabies is here. No, not a good idea? Okay. Well, I guess it's time to get this party started again, huh? We could get the party started again if you want. Let's see. Let's get this party started. If you thought that poo was good as poo, you haven't heard this poo. Welcome, everybody, to the Talking with Famous People live stream. It's like an all-star party with makeup, singing, and wiping. You got to go down to the marketplace to pick up a loaf of bread. You better be careful returning home, or you'll get hit by a bus and be dead. Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name's host Eric. I'm live streaming to no one. Well, no, you three people are not no one. It's okay. I got nothing better to do than stream like this and stream for you. Whether you watch or listen at all, it doesn't really matter so much. I'll fall down anyway into the dirt, get all muddy, take off my shirt, go inside, shower and clean myself up. Don't talk about rectums, that's enough, says Doubt. I doubt your rectum's even itchy. Well, your doubt is misplaced in this case, Doubt, because my anus is itchy. About that, there's no doubt. Yeah, my anus is a little bit itchy. Don't talk about rectums. Okay, I won't talk anything about rectums. Wash your ass. You tell me to wash my ass? Oh, it's clean, believe me. It's clean as a whistle. I think the problem might be probably might be the poison oak that I rubbed on my anus. That's probably the responsible party, I would guess. I think you may have a high cadmium personality type caused by cigarettes. I say that with mild concern. Cadmium toughens the personality. Okay. Is that a thing? I mean, it's toughens the personality. You have a high potassium personality, right? Okay, cool. I have a high dopamine personality when I'm adding up. You got to let the reuptake inhibitors start inhibiting some reuptake, and then soon enough, your dopamine levels start to rise like an ocean of enthusiasm until finally it submerges everything, including your mom's face. It's the last thing to go, usually. Tom thinks anyone is interested in his opinion. High meth personality? I don't take meth. I usually delete such comments. Nah, I took it down. It's fine. Yeah. Well, because the reason is, it's like, it's not that I necessarily hate that comment and recognize what it is, probably a joke of sorts, but it's something people actually accuse me of periodically. So I like to not encourage that false rumor. You know, it's like one of the things that I'm doing in the world is normalizing a lot of stuff, like normalizing cigarette smoking. The cigarette smoking doesn't correlate with dumb people or trashy people or whatever. I'm not trying to encourage anything as far as smoking or not. I'm just saying I'm trying to encourage people to recognize that individuals who have different kind of lifestyles than theirs are not necessarily bad people. So I try to normalize smoking weed. People still try to use it against me, but there's very little way to argue against it. It's like, if people want to say my smoking weed is bad, then they're gonna have to articulate some particular negative impact of it or something of the sort, and that's very difficult to do. So those things are easy to normalize. I don't. From why would you conclude that most people have heavy metal imbalances? So I don't want to try to normalize meth, though, because it's not a good drug. I'm a former meth addict, and I don't really think it's possible to use it sustainably. I don't think it's the devil like everybody makes it out to be, but I don't want to normalize it, and I don't want false rumors about me using it. I used to a long time ago. And it wasn't as bad as being a drunk, put it that way. It's a form of dyslexia. Heavy metal imbalances are a form of dyslexia. What? Oh. You just pick random words and just. It's like saying, that chest mode is a form of architecture. One of a, one of, that feels good. That's a good bone word right there. That's a special friend. Yeah, I don't blame you, Doubt. I do not blame you. Yeah, I've got extremely high gold levels myself. My gold is off the charts today. I need to take something to flush out some of the gold from my system, or stop eating so much gold, or I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a problem for me. You know, if you get too much gold in your system, you start feeling really heavy. You start feeling really heavy and able to melt at a relatively low temperature. When your gold levels get really, really high, you have an irrepressible urge to become a filling. Try to jump in people's teeth all the time. It's strange. Yeah, exactly. Just talk about carrying some extra weight. You think obesity is a problem? High gold levels, they really weigh you down. What type would be the first to get the coronavirus? Chinese person? That's true. They were the first to get the coronavirus. No, I won't, Ghost Rider. I won't. Don't worry. Now, I know it's not the most inviting, probably not the most inviting title per video in history, but sometimes you wake up and your anus is itchy, and what do you gotta do? You're gonna sit there and lament all morning, having decided to press poison oak all over your anus? Well, sure, you could spend your time in regret. The important thing, though, Ghost Rider, is this: you have to have pants between your finger and your anus. Okay, if you have pants between the two, then you don't have to worry about it. You don't get any anus on your finger. Okay, all right. Well, are you eating it wrong hole? Wrong hole. For those of you who aren't familiar, Wrong Hole is the name of my restaurant. It serves nothing but the anuses of various creatures. Um, it's a gourmet. It's an acquired taste. I'm not gonna lie. It's an acquired taste. A lot of meat in your blood today. Yeah, your blood meat ratio is off. I doubt. My blood meat ratio may be a little bit off too. It's like, how much meat do I really need per liter of blood? It's not really clear. Meat to blood ratio. Oh, I'm sorry to inform you of this, Miss Lavalosa. I'm gonna have to work on these breasts for a while. Yeah, your blood to meat ratio is off. I'm quite fond of your notion of a blood to meat ratio, Doubt. Half a meat per liter for blood. Yeah, 0.5 meat per liter of blood should be fine. That's normal. If not, check the food pyramid. The food pyramid has all of your dietary answers. What's the problem? Are you eating enough meat? Remember, eating meat determines somewhat how much meat you have. Also, cereal. Are you eating enough cereal? Also, dairy. You need a lot of dairy. Also, vegetables and fruits. All of those things you need to eat. That's what the food pyramid told me when I was growing up, and I still believe in it 100%. The old food pyramid disallows healthy vegans. Do you like It's Always Sunny? No, I don't watch it. No, I don't. But I actually know the producer of it, or I don't know if he's the producer, associate producer, or something like that. Yeah, John Goodner. He's a old friend of mine. Yeah, and he's either the producer of that show or the associate producer. I'm not sure which. He's got like a bigwig position in that show. The meat pyramid. Well, see, I would like to adjust the food pyramid to include more meat in it. So, it's like cereal, meat, vegetables, meat. You have the different kinds of meat: beef, chicken, pork. And then you can even have on there, very rarely, it'll be like just a teeny bit of this fish. Be cautious with the fish. You don't want to eat too much of it because it's not very good. If you feel like it, go for it. The Eric food pyramid would have McDonald's at the bottom. That's your base food, McDonald's. Cow, pig, chicken, deer. Okay, you know how they have a turducken? I want to eat I'd like to eat a cow pig in. A cow stuffed with a pig stuffed with a chicken. Why don't we get to eat that? No, I don't want to eat a turducken. I want to eat cow pig in. It's a pig stuffed inside of a cow and a chicken stuffed inside of a pig. And then you sew it up in the bottom with some of that string, and then you put a big metal pole through it, and you turn it around over the fire like this. See what I'm saying? All right, so look, this is the thing. Someday, when Talking with Famous People has the ultimate meetup, okay? when TWFP has the ultimate meetup, we will make this meal. So what I'm thinking is you can probably get 2 pigs inside of a cow and get like 4 or 5 or maybe even more chickens inside of a pig. And then you sew up the bottom of it, and you just have to really slow roast it because you're going to have to cook not just the cow, but the pigs and the chickens inside of it. It's a great idea. It's going to be a long, slow cook, That's where you really need to luau the fuck out of that thing. A big ass pit with a shit ton of coals and a lot of banana leaves. Yeah, we don't want to get pee-pee stuck up in there. No, don't sew it up yet. My cat's in there. Oh, whew. What could we fit the cow into? Good question. What could we fit the cow into? I don't think there's really anything you can fit the cow into. We could try to fit Countess. We could try to fit the see, I don't want any animals I don't want to eat in there. I only want to eat cows, pigs, and chickens. I don't want to eat any buffalo, though. I mean, maybe a bison. If you get a small cow or a small bison, you can fit it into the cow, maybe. Or you can put the whole thing into a giraffe. A cow piggin. A cow piggin is a cow stuffs into a giraffe. Stuffed into, chickens stuffed into pigs that are stuffed into a cow. They're stuffed into a giraffe. Okay, and you chop off the neck of the giraffe and the legs. Okay, obviously you have to chop those off. And you take a giant fucking pin, okay? You just like put a whole tree down there and make it become coals. No, listen, don't listen, everybody. There's no reason to be ridiculous here. Okay, we don't need to add rabbits or horses or mooses. Okay, I'll tell you what, we can have a turducken, a chicken stuffed inside a duck, stuffed inside a turkey, stuffed inside the pigs. We have a couple of, I guess you could probably fit just one turducken inside of a pig. So we go turducken inside of a pig, inside of a cow, inside of a giraffe. It's fine. Then you've got a cow pig turducken. You got a cow pig turducken. Okay, well, what do you? I think a giraffe's bigger than a hippo. What do you think? All right. Coach Ritter has dibs on the neck. See, normally I just throw the neck away. Like you go by my house any Thursday, for example, what you're gonna see the trash can on the stream with 4 giraffe legs sticking out of it. More bloody giraffe legs. Giraffe leckin? What's a giraffe leckin? You're gonna make jerky out of it? Okay. Anybody want to gnaw on the legs? Giraffes are harder to kill than what? Than cows? I'm sure they are. Cows are pretty easy to kill. Even I could kill a cow, I think. Well, if you're talking about Eskimo culture, you could go marine mammal. You could get like a narwhal stuffed into a whale. So you get like this. It would be a dolphin stuffed into a porpoise, stuffed into a narwhal, stuffed into a great white shark, stuffed into a whale. If you had that, then that would be the Eskimo equivalent of the cow piggin. How convenient to have an animal with such long neck so it can eat the tops of trees. That is so convenient, I know. Beluga. All right, so you start with the very biggest animal of all, which is the blue whale, right? And then you go down all the different whales in order of size and stuff them into each other, and working your way all the way down to dolphin. What's smaller than a dolphin, sea mammal wise? You can get like a sea otter. Those are pretty small. Seals, I guess, probably like walruses are bigger than seals, are bigger than dolphins, are bigger than they're bigger than porpoises, are bigger than dolphins. Pyramid full of whale juice. We should. The challenge, of course, is getting that thing all prepped and cooked before it starts to rot. So you have to do all the prep. I think all the prep work has to be out in the Arctic where it's not going to go bad. I wonder if there is a world record for the highest amount of animals stuffed into one another. I wonder too. You could start with a mouse at the small end, probably. Walrus will taste like pork and fish. Why do you think that? Blue whale, sperm whale, shark whale, orca, manatee, sea lion, walrus, sea otter, and Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps is in there too. Wow. That's cool. Long pork. I just hope he took off his gold medals because my gold levels are already too high. I think sea manatee would taste like beef fish. Beef fish. We should have all of the fish named as other kinds of animals. Michael Phelps jam. We could make a rich, meaty stuffing out of Olympians. It's not a bad idea. Now it's my foot that's itchy. Itching my foot, scratching my foot always makes me go, right? Because it's like it's half scratch, half tickle. How many tickles per scratch can you tolerate, you know? A cloud will taste like cotton candy mixed with mint and cayenne pepper, huh? Let's see what I've got for you. What do I have for you? Maybe this? Cloud is an aerosol, just like Mom's face. Carry a parasol. And be super chaste. I would assume Megan is Countess, probably. Everybody that I've never seen before is clearly Countess. There's no reason to presume that anybody else would doubt this. You are Fizz. You are Fizz. I mean, you are Jeebus. I mean, I am Fizz. I mean, you are trolling. I mean, I am strolling. I mean, you are rolling down the street like a beat. Rolling down the street like a beat. Well, look. It's important to remember something. It's important to remember things that are important, okay? That's the first thing I want to share with you today as a piece of wisdom. You're constantly forgetting everything that's important. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. marching goes and hold her dear. With her any always pulled away. She looked inside. She noticed there's something extra. A reason you are now. And he saw too much and doesn't hold her dear. And so Annie always pulled away. She couldn't take having the right words out from mine. Okay, so listen. It doesn't matter who's who. It doesn't really matter. There's like probably one person here who's all these people. Probably Countess talking to herself by it's probably Countess and Ghost Rider, and that's it. Everybody else is Countess. Doubt, Megan, Irina. That's what my guess is. There's me here, there's Countess, and there's Ghost Rider. I'm pretty sure Ghost Rider is not Countess. And Countess, too, Doubt. Don't forget that. You're also Countess. I'm also Countess. We've discovered this already, that we've got Ghost Rider here and me and Countess. And I might also be Countess, in which case it might just be Ghost Rider here with Countess. You're not Countess, Doubt? Well, who are you then? Megan? Plot twist, Chidukin is all three. Look, no Chidukins. Okay? No Chidukins. Instead, what I'm telling you is this. Can Krista I said you're Countess. I said you're Countess. Yes, you are Countess. Everybody's Countess. Everybody's Countess. Doubt is Countess. Doubt is Countess. I ran as Countess. Sky ran as Countess. Everybody's Countess all of the time. King Krishna, Sarmapagan. Everybody's Countess. That's the truth. And King Krishna, Sarmapagut. Can you tell I'm Nit Jesus? Jeebus? I don't know who you are, Doubt. I doubt I have the capacity to tell. I do not believe in my own intuition when it comes to detecting those who have alternate identities and present themselves as someone else. Doubt is Cloud. Irina is calling me Jesus. I'm a child of Gerd. You're a Gerd child, huh? I'm a child of Gerd. I'm a child of Gerd. I want you to tell Irina I'm not Jeebus. I don't know who you are, so why would I do that? I can't tell. You might be Cloud. You might be Jeebus. You might be Doubt. I don't know. You might be somebody entirely yourself. Hard to say. Hard to say. Whether you or yourself or someone else. Someone else. Scheming and pretending self. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that you're doubting. Doubt. That's all I know, Doubt. That's all I know in the entire universe. One thing. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm uncertain about this, but I'm pretty sure I'm not Countess. Bye, King Krishna Summer Pagoo. Other than that, I don't know. As far as I can tell, other than that, everybody else is Countess. So, it's me, it's Countess, it's Eileen, it might be Countess, I'm not sure. Can Krishna Sarapagoo might be Countess. Not sure. Doubt's almost certainly Countess. Oy, oy, oy. That's ridiculous. Doubt. You're not being harassed. Who's harassing you? You're harassing yourself. I am using my TE. Probably Doubt is Cloud, yeah. But then also probably Cloud is Countess, so it's hard to say. Doubt may be Cloud, but Cloud is probably Countess, so and Magna is probably Cloud Countess as well. You guys, who needs more of this is right. I don't know who needs more of this. Do I need more of this? Probably not. I would guess I don't, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be right. I could be strong. I could be blight. I have a problem. I have a problem. Everybody I see seems like a lot of people, but then turns out only be Countess in disguise. Countess. Can't get up that high. Break your femur, huh? All right, here we go. I'm gonna take some doubt and find his femur and crush it in half. Gonna do it like he says. Don't want to disappoint his head. Don't kick them both. Time out, fine, but why'd you time her out? What did you do? Why don't you just pay back with a different account? It's more or less impossible to stop the Countess army. This is why Eileen, is a little bit wrench happy sometimes, but shit happens. What are you gonna do? Countess, you seem to be everyone, and I've got my concerns. That perhaps you're just enticing 100 million firms. You're not Doubt, huh? Is that not you, Countess? Why don't you just be Countess? Why do you gotta be all these other people too? Oh, Countess, you're so nutty. Maybe. We don't know either, right? Countess has so many different random accounts that, and she's always pretending to be other people. It's hard to say. She often comes in here with two different accounts concurrently. She just likes to fuck with everyone's reality, I guess. It's third slot innie, very selfish. Oh, Countess, you're not going to bed. Going to bed. Hey, look, it's Cool Paul. Hi, Cloud. Cloud's so silly. He's such a silly goose. Cool Paul. This is a nutty place we got around here. You want to talk about a nutty place? You should come around here. We've got individual persons acting like they're a bunch of steer. Countess always trolling everyone. Yeah, people. Is Doubt banned? I don't think Doubt got banned at all, did he? No. Doubt was timed out. At least he was. With all that back and forth. If Justin Bieber's not an ISTP, then what type is he? I don't think that Justin Bieber's not an ISTP, but I don't think that he is an ISTP. I never thought about the question before. Gee whiz, let me think about it more. Perhaps Justin Bieber's an ESFP? Perhaps Justin Bieber's an ISFP? I don't think he's an I anything though. I'm pretty sure he's an ESFP. He certainly behaves as one does, and seems to be not very able to think well, because he's an ESFP. Would be my guess if you were to ask me. Look at all the rivers of tears pouring off of Cool Paul's face, soothing his wetness urges and calling him Mace. If you want to see somebody really sad, just look to Cool Paul. He's crying, tears are falling out his eyes like a waterfall. Cool Paul is clearly proud indeed. You can recognize the reasons, or so I say, in scare quotes, perhaps that would be better. Yes, those aren't reasons at all for anything. That's very much as per ESFP. Cool Paul is showing me that he's not interested, providing reasons that stand up to scrutiny. Son, indeed, when he won, he thinks he's won, but he's simply done nothing of the sort. Indeed, he's an aborted idea, presented more wrongly, and that's why I rap about it strongly. Indeed, that's the kind of reasoning I've come to expect. I'm acting like an FI auxiliary, says Cloud, because he's projecting on me. But really, I'm just voguing. I like voguing. And if you don't like it, then stop bogarting that joint. I'm voguing. Yes, it's important to point to you when I'm voguing. Who wants to vogue with me? Vogue with me. 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 I hope you're voguing hard now. If you're not voguing harder than me, you're not voguing hard enough. Come on, let's vogue. Everybody vogue. Vogue with me. Why aren't you voguing with me? You should be voguing with me right now. Vogue with me. Come on and vogue with me. Make squares around your head because you're voguing with me. Vogue with me. Come on and vogue with me. If you're not making squares around your head, you're not voguing with me. Come on and vogue with me, please. Vogue with me, please. Vogue harder. Vogue with me, please. Come on now, vogue with me. Okay, so I hope everybody got some voguing in. Morning voguing. If you get your voguing in adequately in the morning, then you don't have to vogue later, which is nice. Get it out of the way early. Vogue with me. Yeah, well, I always find voguing hilarious. Like, what are they doing? What is that thing they're doing? I guess they're trying to say, like, I'm like in a frame, you know, like, right? But it's kind of like twirling too. What the hell's up with twirling? Like there's sticks you throw in the air and shit and spin right there. Is that really something anybody wants to watch? Anybody want to watch somebody twirl? Good news, everybody. Got a bunch of tickets for free to the twirling competition. We can go and sit in the stands real close. We can watch them twirl those sticks like a ghost. Twirling around in a ghost twirling contest. They're twirling around and around. Throw it up in the air. Twirl around myself. Catch it when it falls back down. Hell yeah. Twirl, twirl, and spin. Jump around. Catch it again. Say hi, chicken ball pie. Say bye, chicken ball pie. What you do? What you do? What you do? What you do? Say hi, chicken ball pie. Say hi, chicken pot pie. Hello, raspberry roll. How do you do, potato beef stew? Can you see what I'm telling you? Say hi, chicken pot pie. Hello, raspberry roll. How you doing? I'm doing fine. Would you like some strawberry wine? Say hi, chicken pot pie. Hello, raspberry roll. What you do, potato beef stew? Would you like some strawberry wine? I'm feeling fine. What you doing? Why you being? Will you see? That's not the thing I be. It's not orange from tree. I don't want anything that you can't have found anywhere, anyplace, anywhere in the world. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Say hi. I'm saying hi, chick. Hi, chicken pie. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. I only like things that are fun. And that's not fun at all. You're boring me again. I wish you wouldn't bore me again. You're boring me again. I'm bored. Imagine you got kicked for the entertainment random. It's so mean. Nobody got kicked. Just because somebody got put on time at no cause for objection. At least not particularly strong objection. After all, It's just for a few minutes, and then they can come back saying more stupid shit, then have another opportunity, be put on timeout again. Cloud, you don't need to bother pretending to just be somebody else like Cool Paul, cause you're Cloud. And I don't blame her for kicking, I don't mean kicking, but timing you out did me deep. Because Cloud, you think that you can fool me, Cloud? With your cloudy ways in the cloud, it's hazy and you can't see for days. And so Cloud hopes that he will find that fade away, but I can tell that you are Paul or Cloud are the same guy. I can feel it in my heart. And when I look, I notice that you have cloud-like features. And the cloud inside of you shines so bright. Nobody's banning anybody, all right? Just everybody just chill the fudge out. Ain't nobody getting banned. Everybody's getting timed out saying, not banned, don't ban, just time them out. He's just a bad man. I only ban full blast spot monkeys. I banned a girl named Tori. I banned a girl named Becky. Can't blame me for doing that because those two are a bunch of schmeckies. I had to ban, what's his name, Shane, because Becky overtook his account to leave blame comments. It's raining. Hey, Countess. Marius Sanchez. Hey, it's raining. Ooh. Was it Cool Paul, Cloud? Was it Cool Paul who told you that? Cloud is Ravine. Ban Cloud, I'm Paul from now on. Nobody's banning anybody. Dumbass. Dark Phoenix, don't lose that ranch. You will lose that ranch if you do anything crazy. Don't get wrench happy. The stats may tell me I've got 10 people in here. But really, it's just Cloud, Countess, and Eileen. Well, May, that's very nice of you to say. I greatly appreciate it. Great. I mean, I totally want to play a concert, but I don't know. I just seem to be lolling in the doldrums of failure. Hi, I'm lolling in the doldrums of failure. Welcome. If you'd like to loll here in the doldrums of failure, then join me, because I'm lolling in the doldrums of failure. Welcome to joining me in the doldrums of failure. We are not going anywhere today. Anyhow, we're not moving forward towards an outcome. You think any ISI users are more clumsy? Yeah, I do. In general, it is true that an extroverted intuiter is clumsier than you. If you are an extroverted sensor, then you're not as deft with your body, I guess. I mean, your mind, whatever. I got it confused. Yeah, for sure. Because, look. That's what I want to talk about. Okay, so people don't understand extroverted intuition at all, and that's become pretty evident to me. we've got people who are insisting that, look, you could look at a philosopher like Bertrand Russell, who did a lot of logical proofs. You can conclude for sure he cannot be an ESFP or an ENFP. He cannot possibly be, because there's too much conditional logic going on in this shit. Now, it's a lot more objective and concrete to identify examples of conditional logic being used in something, but extroverted intuition is just a definitive. And it is the case that somebody like Eminem is the equivalent of Bertrand Russell. Saying that Eminem is an ISTP is like saying that Bertrand Russell was an ESFP. It's literally impossible. It makes no sense. I've been thinking about this more and more because of this this ongoing dispute about Eminem, which is weird. He could be an ISTP. It's insane, you know. So yeah, basically, it's like the only way you could argue that Eminem is not an NE user, either first or second, is to claim that it's possible for an ESFP to be a master logician. Well, we can kind of eliminate that immediately. You know, it's like that doesn't make any sense. And the same thing is true for Eminem with NE. Well, Tom Jackson, if you agree with that Eminem's NE polar, then you don't understand extrovert intuition. And that's basically all there is to it. And I guess a lot of people don't want to listen or think really about it, because I've worked with a lot of students since I've started learning about cognitive functions. I've had a chance to work with a fair number of ISTPs, and they're just incredibly ideationally flat. To be interested in wordplay at all, to the level that will require you to, you have to have a great deal of interest in wordplay to be reading dictionary every day to learn all the words and rhymes. For example, it's not the sort of thing that somebody who's not native to language skills is going to be interested in doing. And ISTP is certainly not native to language skills. Maybe to parsing language skills, fine, but certainly not creative language skills, wordplay, rhyming, and all the stuff that's associated with it. There are SE rappers out there, but they're all terrible. People can disagree with me about this if they want, but it just means they're not even beginning to engage with the subject meaningfully. The other thing I want to talk about was the four or five different ways that people try to establish things with cognitive functions. So an actual process analysis would be something like, I tested your TI, you didn't do very well on the test, or I asked you NI test questions and you didn't do very well on those, or something like that. That's a process analysis where you're really trying to press on a particular attentional manner and reveal its strength or weakness accordingly. Sometimes we can make process analyses of people who are not actively being pressed by a questioner. In other words, not being typed. You can still make analyses of their behaviors, but those are a lot less meaningful, because obviously people behave differently in different moments and have different reasons to behave certain ways and sometimes in other ways than other times. So if we're not really testing somebody directly, there's a limited amount of information we can glean from something like an interview. But ideally, that's the best way to test somebody, is to do process analysis directly, to actually test their processes. If you can't do that, you've got to look at some weaker kind of evidence, like either correlates, that is to say, behaviors that are keeping with it, or objects, which would be, say, work product that's keeping with it. So we can look at Eminem's work product and conclude that if we were to look at just the writing by itself without knowing anything about the guy at all, we'd have to conclude, if we knew anything about extroverted intuition, that he was an extroverted intuitor. If we just looked at the work itself, is that definitive? Pretty close. I mean, it doesn't tell us what kind of extroverted intuitor he is, but it definitely tells us he's any one or two. And people want to disagree with that. I mean, they don't understand. They just don't understand. It's like, and they may never understand. I don't know. It's not that complicated, but for some people, they don't respect the fundamentally rigorous nature of the thing, and they take a non-rigorous approach, and then whatever, they just say whatever. Have you tested C.S. Joseph? No. We've got a lot of different ways we can make claims about somebody's type. So we could refer to process analyses, like I said. We could do correlates, which are sort of descriptions of a person's behavior, and say this behavior correlates more strongly with this function than with this. We can do sort of ontological type description matchups. Say, okay, well, as a person, he seems kind of like an ENTP type description or an INTP type description or whatever. We could talk about values, certain types. Functions correlate with certain kinds of values in certain slots, and so we can evaluate somebody whether they seem to match up with the value matrix for a given type or another. Remembering, of course, that what we have to access is the external stuff, the affect and the objects, neither of which are definitive, but collectively they're pretty convincing. So what I would say is, for C.S. Joseph, for example, while his value, he clearly is not valuing introverted thinking. If he were valuing introverted thinking, he'd want to parse out the ideas, and he doesn't. If he valued introverted thinking, he'd believe that it is important to defend your own position rather than defaulting to, well, you read the book then, which is what he defaults to when pressed on any particular issue. He sort of basically makes these couple of books that he references the Bible, and any question he can't answer, he just says, well, read it yourself. That's clearly TE valuing and not TI valuing. It's ignoring TI or polar TI. It's hard to say. It could be 6 slot. It's not 6 slot. It can't be 6 slot. It could be 5th. It could be 7th, maybe 8th, but it's definitely not 1st or 2nd or even 3rd or 4th. So we're looking at TE up there somewhere for C.S. Joseph for sure. And I would say then the next question becomes SI or NI. Well, I mean, I guess I would have to say ESTJ, because he's definitely either NI polar or TI polar. And since he's certainly an extrovert, then, if he's an ENTJ or an ESTJ, then we're looking at NI polar or SI polar. Well, he seems much more likely to be NI polar than SI polar, because he doesn't get certain things are determinate. They're determinate factors and things. So, I would say he's more likely to be an ESTJ than an ENTJ. The thing about him also is that he's just there's a matter of character too. It's like being a given type doesn't make you have low character or be a person who lacks character, and he is certainly that. Thanks, Julia Busey. These books behind me are very important books. They give me authority. Julia, are you Countess? Or is May Countess, or are both of you Countess? Well, Cloud, that's because I'm 10% heroin. It's easy to get addicted to me. You got to watch out. Well, there's no reason to hate me. You're just gonna have to sort of get accustomed in life to sort of finding the modalities that you are native to that work for you. TI is not one of them. So, if you keep trying to push TI shit, then it's not gonna fly around here. Thanks, Eileen. A few people in the world. If I could just multiply you guys by about 1 million, I'd be totally. That's funny. Oh wait, no, they're over here. Oh, these ones. These books are the. Is it backwards for you? The Literary Digest History of the World War. I'm pretty sure this is, it's 1914 through 1918. And these books were clearly written prior to World War II because history of the World War, right? This one's 1915 to 1917. Because when I see it here, it's mirror image for some reason. I guess it does that on this screen, but not probably on the screen you see. So, I think about cognitive functions in general. Well, let me take a moment, but I don't value your knowledge. Okay, Cloud. Well, so why is it so important to you to convey to me that you don't respect me as an intellectual at all? It's critically important to you, obviously, that I get that message from you, that you don't respect me as an intellectual, you don't think others should respect me as an intellectual, that I'm failing to meet some important burden. So why is this so important to you? Is that an example of FI? Quote, all that stuff there. Bible condemns it, therefore I have a problem with it. Any straight person who doesn't have a problem with it is virtue signaling. No, I would say that's NI, but it may be the NI of an FI user. I'm not sure. It's like that sort of thing is NI. You got a singular path, and you're going to go that path regardless of whether reality deviates from it. In other words, there are two ways that people deal with, or a number of different ways that people deal with map territory deviation, and that's really what we're trying to alleviate. Resolve is map territory deviation. One way to resolve it is to insist the map is right no matter what, and to ignore anything on the territory that would seem to disagree with the map. That's what that is right there, is map fetish. Whereas like, for example, if you're like my dad, he's bipolar, he's an atheist, and he always tries to prioritize the territory, doesn't trust the map, basically. So, for example, when I make a perfectly good cogent argument as to why that certain thing seems impossible, for example, when Becky threatened to sue him, he went and talked to a lawyer. Why did he go talk to a lawyer? There was no reason to. I explained to him that it was impossible for her to sue him, and that there was a determinate consideration on terms of the legal arguments. I was correct, but he went to see the lawyer anyway, and the lawyer told him the same thing that I told him, but he believed the lawyer because at that point he's doing the TE protocol, and he trusts that protocol. Now, you have to be anti-polar to be able to. There's a fallacy of sorts, or a heuristic mistake that people make, which is that simply that knowing that something is a risk, that a risk exists, does not tell us anything about what to do or not do or anything. So, but a lot of people think that if I inform you that a risk exists, then all of a sudden some people will try to take measures just to prevent that from occurring. So if I tell you, look, hey, Dad, there's been a lot of bears sighted here recently. Well, that's a little bit more specific. But, hey, there's a risk of bears coming down here and getting to the house. Then my dad won't ask any questions like, well, how likely is that? How does this risk compare with other comparable risks? What other things can one do that might prevent harms from occurring that are more likely than bears, etc., right? The fact that you highlight something as being a risk means that's what people pay attention to when they indulge in risk prevention stuff. But it's not a good reason to indulge in risk prevention stuff because it doesn't establish that it doesn't tell us anything about what we ought to do, just to establish that some risk exists. And you can see what happens when risk exists is over. Hi, Rusmus. Nice to see you. So anyway, I don't know what I was saying. Lost my train of thought. Rusmus came here, and I was struck by his notation that his dad never asks if his anus itchy is a risk. Well, what he should be asking is, are you at risk for anus itchy anus? And the question is, I've got a couple of pre-questions for you, Rusmus, to determine the answer to that. Number one, have you rubbed any poison oak or poison ivy on your anus recently? And number two, if not, did you get bitten by any mosquitoes or other insects on your anus? First two questions, you got to eliminate some alternate possibilities besides itchy anus syndrome. Okay, well, that's why then. That is why your anus is itchy, Rusmus, is because of the poison ivy. And, that's a common phenomenon. A lot of people say, hey, I know, this is a nice leaf. I think I'm going to rub it on my anus. It's a natural thing to say, natural thing to do. I actually thought that video title alluded to a pinworm infection. Really? It's just, my titles are so random. I just randomly title shit, whatever I think in the moment. So, very few of my titles have to do with the anus, but this one does. You got lucky this morning, Julia Busey. Okay, I gotta freaking edit the thing, Flow State. That's fine. I'll upload it. I mean, I want to upload it because I want to comment upon it after the fact. And the reason I do is because it's a clear example of somebody who's the difference between dialectic and rhetoric. Like, I was actually trying to make progress in terms of reaching agreement, but you were just trying to debate me. So it's like, it's one of the things I got to talk about in general. I'm going to upload it. I just told you I was going to upload it. I said I got to edit out the fucking dead air and the spots and stuff first. Then afterwards, I'll make a video commenting on it. People can decide whatever they want to decide. I mean, it's like, yeah, well, what happened is you basically insisted everything in the world was extroverted sensing. So, I mean, I'm not editorializing anything, Taylor. And I told you, yes, I will upload it. I'm not avoiding uploading it. Benjamin Sasadik, you know why you clicked it? Because your anus is itchy. And I want you to check on a couple of things first to make sure you've attended to them. Number one is, did you rub any poison oak or poison ivy on your anus recently? Or number two, did any mosquitoes or any other sort of biting insects get to your anus? If so, okay. I'll upload them to Google Drive and share them with you. Hi, Can Christian Startup Pagoo. Yeah, you should check that for sure. So anyway, today we're talking about what? We're talking about wonderful things, cognitive functions, my frustration. I got to say that the conversation with you yesterday definitely frustrated me, Taylor. It's frustrating because, at a certain point I realized we were working towards different ends, I'm not really particularly interested in okay, sure. Let's see. I guess I'll do it right now. I'm concerned that it's going. I don't know if you can upload while you're streaming. Maybe you can. So anyway, let's get some drums and wrap this stream up. Oh, Jesus. You're not going to believe this, Taylor. I deleted those videos. I swear to God it wasn't on purpose. I was recording audio last night and it was like I was running out of space on my hard drive. And so I did what I always do. I went to my videos and went from and deleted all the ones that were piled up because they pile up and then I just delete them. And deleted those videos by accident. I wasn't thinking. Sorry. It really was an accident. I know you're going to think I was trying to avoid you or something or avoid putting it up. I had no problem with that videos going up. I wasn't embarrassed about it or anything. I just realized that we were working towards different conclusions. I'm sorry. Shit happens, man. It's like I got a lot of fucking stuff going on, and shit happens. I was recording audio and I was running out of time. It was telling me, it's not bullshit, Taylor. I'm not lying. I'm not lying to you. It did not even cross my mind when I went to do what I always do when I need to clear up space, which is go and delete all the old videos in the video file that are stacked up. So it's like almost never the case that I got anything pending in there, So, lament all you want, but don't accuse me of lying about this. I'm not lying to you. It was an accident. I didn't mean to delete them. People can not believe me if they want. I don't give a fuck. If I were lying, you'd be able to tell. I don't lie well. Yeah, we can do it again. Taylor, you want to do it right now? Do it right now. We could live stream it if you want. I could set up the live stream so that I can do it that way. This live stream is not set up for that, but I can set up the live stream to do it like that if you want. We can do it right now. I'm not trying to avoid this or anything. It was genuinely an accident. You want to do it right now? You got time? And we will live stream it. I just got to use the OBS instead of the web cam live streaming. Yeah, you're probably at work. I understand that. I'm not. But anytime you want to do it again, I don't know for sure. I did guess that you were probably at work, but anytime you're available, I'm willing to do it. I'm sorry I deleted those by accident, but it was an accident. And I'm not trying to avoid your argument here, even though it's silly. You know, I'm not one to dodge people trying to engage me about stuff. So, anyhow, that's a little Mercury in retrograde probably is hitting me there. I don't know. Is it almost over, right? Is it over now? Maybe it's over now. That will solve it. Yeah, I will debate him again. No problem. No problem. We won't have to watch the things again. We can just do one video, or we can. I don't think Mercury's still in retrograde though. I think it's over now. Things seem generally to be going pretty normal now, and for me, I'm in limbo, and this is causing me some amount of distress. Yeah, Eminem, whether or not what type he is. So basically, Taylor's position is that Eminem is an ISTP, and my position is any reasonable analysis of his work is going to conclude that that's not made by somebody who's extroverted intuition polar. And so basically, what it comes down to is what is extroverted intuition, and why is it not possible for Eminem to be any polar? That's my position. Taylor's position is that that's not what extroverted intuition is, that rhyming's an SE thing. I mean, it's like, it's a frustrating argument, right? Because I guess there's a fundamental disagreement about what the definition of extroverted intuition is. Some functions it's pretty easy to say, like, well, I mean, INFJ is not impossible because fifth slot extroverted intuition can be pretty good. But the bottom line is anybody who doesn't think he's extroverted intuition in a 1 or 2 does not understand extroverted intuition. That's it. I don't know what to say about it. It's like, here's the thing, Tom Jackson. Of course, FI doesn't have an object external. That's what makes it so difficult to ascertain. Objects that are external relating to FI are FE, usually, certainly in media. Now, FI might motivate a person to make a song. You might hear strong emotions in a song. You might hear strong emotions in my song, but I'm FI polar too. For example, I wrote a very emotional-ish song about Rachel. You might say it's very FI, but that would be wrong. In fact, it's FE mostly, and it may be motivated by FI, but certainly the objects of media it comprises are not FI, and that's simply wrong. So Eminem is an ENTP for the same reason that I'm an ENTP. And I should say it's a pretty straightforward reason. And pretty definitive, I guess you'd say. It's hard to dispute the reason that I'm talking about here. Namely, that Benjamin's acidic. Let me tell you something about alpha values. The number one alpha value is self-expression. And the number one alpha value is acting with words. But most importantly, the reason we can tell that Eminem's an ENTP is because extroverted intuition comprises a skill set as well. So it turns out only people who have extroverted intuition in them one or two are ever going to want to even begin to attempt to master this kind of shit. For example, Benjamin's acidic. You are an ISTP, and you could never do this in a million years, no matter how much you practice it, because you don't have extrovertedly intuition. Acts something that generates ideas on the fly. Every good rap and freestyler is necessarily an extroverted intuitor. Now, it's true there are some SE rappers, and they all suck ass. For example, Drake. Everybody thinks he's great, but he's crap indeed. He's a grape that ought to be stepped on, because Drake's no good because he doesn't have extroverted intuition. You see, the domain of good ideas, and the domain of generating stuff, and the domain of making lots of rhymes, and making it rain in the club in a way that's interesting instead of dumb, the way of telling stories that are really fun, or also stories that are very complicated and tie in together and make a lot of sense. Well, that's the domain of the extroverted sense. No, not sensor. No, extroverted intuition person instead. Why? Because that's what we get. So, unfortunately, I'm not very good at following through on shit, and I'm also not very good at knowing what I feel. I'm also not very good at figuring out how to solve problems like a broken wheel, and I'm also not very good at keeping track of taking care of myself, sleeping enough and drinking enough and eating enough and stuff like that. And I'm only kind of mediocre about being graceful socially, and I tend to ignore the truth sometimes, or this singular course anyhow. But there is a couple things that I'm good at. Wow. And that's language and freestyling and making up words and being clever and stuff. Turns of phrase, rhymes, poetry, and all that buff stuff. And who is not? Benjamin, you are not. Taylor, you are not. And there's a reason you haven't spent your time doing this instead of what you're doing instead. The reason is because you're not stuck in your head like an extroverted intuitor, working with words all the time. ISTP, rap like Eminem, you got to shine your butthole real bright and shiny. If you're going to think that's going to blind anybody enough to see that, think that's true. It's ridiculous. So if you don't think that Eminem is extroverted intuition, then what skill set do you think is required for coming up with poetry and essays and stuff? For writing lots of shit and saying lots of words and coming up with complicated ways and birds and making stuff up on the fly like this, improvising, but on the metaphysical plane, not on the physical plane, right? So look, here's the thing. We can afford expertise to every type in a certain area, or at least every dominant function. We can afford 8 specific areas of expertise. Extroverted sensing has its own area of expertise. I think Dre is either an INFJ or I think he's probably an INFJ. Right, but see, here's the thing, Benjamin Siddick. In my any mic drop moment video, which is very short, which has me freestyling something, what do I freestyle on that? I freestyle that I learned rap by going to hell and coming back and having an attack and winning a rap battle and then going to back to someplace and hanging out with these rap girls with big boobs and big butts, and they're sucking on my pole and they're sucking on Cloud's spine and yada yada yada. It's a bunch of SE kind of stuff, right? Why? Well, because it's not SE stuff. Those are words. SE people do things. NE people talk about things. When Eminem had in the song Criminal, you know, all this like robbing a bank stuff and shooting people and stuff like that, he's not doing those things. He's rapping that he's doing those things. He's got characters who he pretends do things, right? And in fact, almost all of his songs are metaphysical in that sense. They're not referencing real things. He's not talking about generally the normal rap themes of just SE shit, like being in the club, humping bitches and all that stuff, you know? He's not doing that. Well, sure, Eminem is not a character. Well, Eminem is too. Marshall Mathers, Eminem, Slim Shady, they're all aspects of the self that he's presenting as different characters so he can play different themes that are contradictory to each other. Why does he want to play different themes that are contradictory to each other? Because he's FI polar. If in fact I'm always using extroverted intuition, I'm addicted to it, I can't stop, then it's pretty difficult to deny that, in fact, since I'm always talking, coming up with rhymes and raps and blah, 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 that's what extroverted intuition is. Now, to suggest that somebody who is clearly a sort of absolute master of it, Eminem, would be polar in my dominant function is insane. It's just simply wrong. It makes no sense. Well, my point, Dark Phoenix, is that Eminem, it's not the case just that Eminem can struggle and force himself to do it and succeed at it. It's the case that he's in his wheelhouse. And that means he's an extroverted intuitor. I'm not saying it's impossible for people to freestyle and use SE and FI. I believe 50 Cent is SE FI. And he's also not nearly as good. He quickly, it's like you quickly run out of interest in him because he's not really telling any stories. He's just doing his thing, you know? Am I quitting the streamer soon or not? I don't know. NI catches SE as picking up points that suddenly remind you of something that you don't remember. All these points are well aligned to point to something, which is why pointing that way, that's NI. Okay. Trying to find meaning. So the thing about what extroverted intuition does on the fly there is it shoots out ahead. It finds the rhyme, and then it shoots out ahead a meaning package that incorporates that rhyme. It makes sort of sense by linking to the other things. It requires you to have a very light touch on SI, that is to say, to hold and then release things you're doing because you don't need to keep them in your mind anymore as soon as you set them, right? And always be looking forward, but not looking too far forward. And that's what extroverted intuition is particularly good at. It's a forest focused. I mean, it's a tree focused function. NI is the forest, NE is the trees. And when you're freestyling, you're bouncing amongst the trees in a perfectly wheelhouse kind of way for an NE dom. What happens when you get an SE dom to describe what is happening second by second in a soccer match? Well, I would suppose the SE dom would have no problem doing that because, of course, in that instance, their extroverted intuition is rising up to serve their extroverted sensing. They don't have to ideate. They don't have to generate stuff from the internal metaphysical plane. It's right in front of them and they're describing it. Descriptive language is obviously different than other kinds of language. If you're describing something that's in the physical world, in the same sense that saying that this is a cigarette box is true because you can see the cigarette box and you can verify yourself very quickly is a different kind of truth than saying that I'm an ENTP. That's not something visible or physical that's easily verified. It's instead verified definitionally, which is to say it is correct symbolically, but of course, to accept that the map is right that I'm providing you on that point requires you to have some capacity to operate with objectivity in that plane, in that field. And like somebody like an ESFP or an ENFP has trouble operating objectively up there. And so they're not going to really ever understand why it is the case that one position is the correct mapping and the other position is incorrect. It's just how it goes. Let's see. No offense, but any comes off as disconnected nonsense. Eminem has more consistency than a standard any Dom. I mean, I do take offense at that. It comes across as that to you because you're blind to it. You don't understand its deftness. You don't understand the skill that's required in it. And you never will. And so that's what makes it impossible for Eminem to be that. And that's what Taylor tried to say too, that any is disconnected nonsense. I'm engaging in extrovert intuition right now. I'm engaging in extrovert intuition paired with TI. It's the furthest thing in the world from disconnected nonsense. It is in fact directly responsive to what you're saying, and it is decisive in the argumentation. It's convincing because it's correct and it's responsive. So there's absolutely nothing disconnected nonsense about extroverted intuition. It is responsive in the moment. It is improvisational. If you look at the whole of my channel, you might say extroverted intuition is disconnected nonsense. But then you're refusing to look at any particular individual work. Just because Eminem has his work put into albums, well, of course, he has a huge team of people helping him, It's not like me, where I'm a guy on my own making a YouTube channel, uploading a bunch of shit and having no success, right? It's very different than Eminem, who's got people who are a team of people making sure that every music he makes is packaged properly and all that kind of shit, It structures his whole creative endeavor for him, what he does as a job, what he did as a job. So it's an entirely different situation than my YouTube channel. Extrapolating from the fact that my YouTube channel looks sloppy to everybody, that any DOMs can't be focused or effective is insane. It's just so wrong. It's like, this is my playtime. In my work as a debate coach, though, I win national championships and shit. So do you think that happens by being full of disconnected nonsense? I'm still an extroverted intuition, Dom. Of course not. The point is, it's the ideational capacity, the ability to generate. Okay, well, so here you go. The content of his words is vastly less significant than the creative form of it. In other words, the fact that it's so clever and put together well and rhymes and all these other wordplay tricks is indicative of somebody who's got at least some ability with extroverted intuition, because that's what extroverted intuition is. Now, I'm telling you this is an extroverted intuition, Dom. Nobody seems to be disputing that that's my dominant function. And we've got somebody who's any polar and somebody who's any eighth trying to tell me that their dominant and tool function respectively, or the other way around, tool and dominant function respectively, are totally capable of and or subsume my actual nature. And I don't normally try to use particularist arguments to justify things by saying that obviously I know better about it, but the fact is I do. Obviously I know better about it. I can show you lots of poems and raps and rhymes and stuff that are operant in the same creative manner. Now it may not be convincing to somebody who doesn't understand extroverted intuition. I'm not saying it's a necessarily convincing argument. If you don't get what it is, and a lot of people don't get what it is, then that's fine. All I would say is, if anybody wants to If anybody wants to prove to me that Eminem can be an extroverted censor of some sort, then be an extroverted censor and demonstrate some of the things that he demonstrates in his skills. He's not just a producer of a body of work, he's an excellent freestyler as well. So even if you were to look at his totally blind to metaphors and conveying messages, I mean, are you insane? Are you completely insane? He's full of messages. It's messages about his own FE mostly, and about how he wants people to perceive him. He's constantly crafting other people's perceptions of him in various ways. He's responding to things. He's, anytime anybody calls him out, diss track, here it comes. I'm going to fucking battle you right off the bat. Nobody can talk shit about Eminem without him coming back and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to show you, and one-upping them and stuff like that. What do you think that is? Conveying messages and metaphors, blind to metaphors. Come on. Are you crazy? Jesus Christ. This conversation is silly because I mean, okay, so you tell me what is the domain of SE then, Taylor? It's like we can test both of us on skill sets that would be relevant to rapping. Things like rhyming, improvising, a bunch of other stuff. Who would win every single one of those? Me, obviously. How's it obvious? Are you crazy? You couldn't do that in a million years. It's very difficult to write stuff that is technically as successful as raps and also works as a story and keeps your attention with the meaning of the words the whole way through. It's very difficult to do. People who do not. Okay, so you just see any as a failure then, Benjamin Tsitsidik, because I'm able to jump from one thing to another and change topics all of a sudden. You think that that's a failure, right? Okay, well, look, I you know what? Frankly, I don't even want to argue about this anymore. I recognize something is true here, which is I'm not willing to do as much remedial teaching as may be necessary for some parties, or most importantly, I don't think either Taylor or you is. I don't know about you, Benjamin, but I agree with you about the interviews. This is the thing I've said as well. If you look at the interviews, he appears to be an SE user. I agree. So it's like I don't want to argue about it because it's not definitive, because I can't talk to the guy and test him. But I can tell you that if any SE user wants to convince me that Eminem could be an SE user, then demonstrate some of those skills. Demonstrate some skills. So show me your body of writing, Taylor. Show me your poetry. Benjamin, you want to show me your raps? Oh, you don't have any? You think of any other ESTP that has a body of writing? How about ISTPs? No? You have a body of writing, Benjamin? Okay. What kind of body of writing is it? Okay, tell me, what kind of writing is it? I'm actually curious to see it, Benjamin, because this will be teachable for me as far as ISTPs. Okay, well, let me see some of your work. This will be instructive to me, because I believe I typed you as ISTP, so it's very NI, not NE. So does it differ from, say, freestyling or what Eminem does, which is also freestyling? Can you freestyle, Benjamin? Benjamin, you couldn't acquire that skill no matter what. Now, the thing is, Okay, well, my point would be, why is he practicing all day constantly is something that he can't do naturally? Look, we're not going to get anywhere with the thing. If you want to convince me that an ISTP can master being an ENTP because of practice, then is it also the case that an ENTP can master being an ISTP because of practice? Is it also the case that any type can master being any type? Can an ESFP be a master logician because of practice? So, I mean, if you want to go there, then fine, go there. But, you're just saying that you're just saying basically, I don't want to understand the intuition functions at all. It's like, it's, it's ridiculous. I mean, look, intuitives have their own domain of skills. They understand certain things better. And I get that that's not an argument, but for something like this that doesn't resolve very easily, it just sort of draws out, for me, the sort of difficulties I faced throughout my life dealing with sensors, that they don't respect intuition. They think it's cheap and easy. It's unfortunate. Intuitives tend to respect sensors reasonably well. We get frustrated by them, but I just don't have time to waste, I guess, either. It's like, people aren't interested in really parsing the thing out, then they don't, they're not going to come to agreement with me. Because to genuinely parse it out, and this is partially my fault, I need to really lay it all out there and explain that you can't really understand it any other way than what I'm saying if you want to be right. And I have not done that adequately. And so that's why I didn't want to have these conversations. It's just frustrating to me. It's like, it's very much like the Connecticut King Arthur's Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court. The scene where he's trying to talk to these people and explain to them that like that doesn't make sense. He's really like, okay, no, but listen, and then they go like, but 12 is more than 10, and he's like, but 12 things are each worth less than the 10 things, or what? And they don't understand, and he's very frustrated. I feel like that a lot about cognitive functions because people like to zoom in on bits of things in isolation and forget what the salient questions are. What is a cognitive function? It's an attentional matter. How can we meaningfully talk about it? Well, it's a movement of information, a function like put, get, receive, interface. These are functions that that talk about how information moves in a four-field system. That there are four fields is indisputable. Internal metaphysical inside your head, external metaphysical, what I'm doing right now, internal physical, my body, external physical, shit that I impact. It's not disputable, but it's critical that you start there. If you don't start there, you're going to be wrong about cognitive functions. Because the fact is, cognitive functions represent all the permutations of information flow on those four fields. It's that simple. The only other aspect that's really critical in understanding it is that there are three sort of angles of observation: agent, subject, object, not just subject, object. And so that needs to be incorporated as well. And then, of course, the fields operate on different styles of time, turn-based or real time. But it's critical to remember that both of them always occur in the moment. You're never existent in the past or the future. When I say it's occurring on a turn-based timescale, I mean the information being presented to you here is information that is processed according to a turn-based time modality, which is to say that words are ordinal and conditional, and it matters the order they go in, and the meanings I'm making now are predicated on the words I've said before. Now, for example, people might think I'm not using extroverted intuition right now. Of course I am. I'm using extroverted intuition right now, and I can show you that I am because, for example, there's zero chance that Benjamin would be able to answer this question in this fashion, would be able to do this at all. He's going to run out of momentum and seek something external to him to prompt him again to NE. And when he does NE, he's going to run out of gas pretty quickly. He's not going to just yammer on indefinitely explaining things and going down this path and that path and this path, trying to explain the whole thing, right? Now, I'm not, okay, you're doubling down on TI. Listen to me. TI is not an expressive function. TI is a deliberative function. It parses out what something is saying to see if it's consistent. Right now, I used TI very briefly to check to see what's wrong with that notion, determine what's wrong with it, and then began to extrovertly intuit about that, what's wrong with it. So right now I'm saying, you're demonstrating here your misunderstanding. That in fact, the parsing function, the one that says, here's what's wrong with it, is the same as the explanatory function, the one that talks about it indefinitely. I've come up with one TI thing, namely that this is wrong because you mistaken the parsing function from the expressive function, and all of the other words I've said, everything else I've done here is expressing that central idea. The TI part is not something I can double down on in that fashion. You seem to think that continuing to talk is generating more TI, but I still only, what I've done is I've gone back and said, I've reframed what you've done here to look at it from a different angle and say, okay, so you seem to think that all talking then is TI if it's logical, but that's simply not the case, right? So in the first place, I've critiqued now that you have misunderstood TI for, and the reason you misunderstood it is because you think that the process of checking something for consistency is the same thing as talking about that process, and etc. It's like, listen, I'm an extroverted intuition dom, and most of the time I'm talking about ideas like this. I get this. This is the sort of bullshit I get. This is the sort of bullshit I get. Listen. So when I'm talking about a bunch of ideas like this and I'm being logical and sensible, I get told I'm not an extroverted intuitor because I'm too sensible and logical and not scattered enough. When I'm being jokey or whatever, then people will say I'm an extroverted intuitor. Okay, well, but I'm the same person both times. And I spend at least as much time talking seriously as I do joking around and playing around. That doesn't mean that I'm spending most of my time or half the time in TI. No. I am an extroverted intuitor. I'm extrovertedly intuiting right now. Any kind of improvisational response that involves seeking out the different possibilities of ways in which I can critique this or angles of perception on it or whatever, those things come into play as part of my argumentation. Now, the fact that my argumentation is sound is because I do have a tool function of TI. It means I'm not going to make a bunch of illogical statements that don't link to each other properly. But that doesn't mean I'm TIing when I'm making my case. I realized, I can't do anything in moderation. I don't know how. I have the same thing. I have the same problem, right? I can't do anything in moderation. I'm live streaming all the time. You might say, look at well, the reason he's so good at live streaming is because he's practicing it all the time. Now, the reason I'm live streaming all the time is because I'm good at it. It's the other way around, obviously. Oh, Eminem? I mean, look, you could say I have, if by that metric, I've got better SE than anybody. I've persisted in this channel for years and years and years, putting up thousands of videos, despite the fact that I've been very slow to succeed. That's persistence. That's stick-to-itiveness. That's finishing what you started. That's following through, all the stuff like that. No, well, look, Benjamin, you need to remember something. Extroverted intuition doesn't go alone. It pairs, if it's not pairing with TI, it's pairing with FE. Extroverted intuition with FE is more fun-loving, but not more effort-filled. You're incorrect in that. In fact, this is probably more effortless if I were to try to do one of the two. Is this more easily willed for me than the jokey kind? When I'm having fun and screwing around, I'm using extroverted intuition with FE. In other words, if my screwing around and having fun isn't entertaining to you, then it's not of any value to me. The only value I have for extrovertedly intuiting in that fashion is that it engages the group. So, is it possible sometimes for me to just extrovertly intuit without anything? Sure. When I'm by myself, I might just hum random notes or whatever. That's true. But by and large, when I'm dealing, or in this context, I'm either using NETI or NEFE. The NETI is actually easier for me, but not much. I'm pretty natural at both. And so you're wrong about that. This is more effort for me. The fact that I'm thinking instead of attending to FE stuff is pretty much the same effort, I guess. So yeah, you could say that you disagree with me. Straw man everywhere? How is that a straw man? He said that it's clear to him that I'm putting in more effort when I'm TIing than when I'm FEing. And I'm saying, no, it's not true. Now, you could accuse me of lying, but when you appeal to subjective evidence like that only I have access to, then I win the point. You don't have to appeal to subjective evidence like that. He says it's more effort for me. Well, only I know whether it's more effort for me. So obviously I'm going to win that point. How am I straw manning him at all, Taylor? Can you answer that question? I don't double down on TI, Benjamin. I never double down on it. I either use it or I don't. What does that mean? I'm always attending by introverted thinking. It's there. I'm aware of inconsistencies. What do you mean by double down on it? Just go back and watch. It's not an answer. That's an avoidance, right? You're not answering the question. If you don't know what you mean when you say double down, then it doesn't mean anything. What do you mean? Double down. Okay, listen, I can switch from TI to FE. That's true in the sense that sometimes I'm not paying attention to logical consistency and sometimes I am. But the problem, the fact that you know what you mean is not an adequate reason for me to think you know anything worth knowing. The fact is, it's very difficult to dispute that. Hi, Rachel Apollosa. That whatever. I don't even want to argue with you. I don't want to argue with people with this shit because they don't understand what extroverted intuition is at all. So it's like you can try to make your arguments all you want. I'm not interested in convincing you. You're wrong. Taylor, you're wrong too. And I'm not interested in convincing you. I don't want to have this argument because it's a waste of my fucking time. You guys don't understand well enough to even possibly conceive of getting it right. So that's it. And it's pissing me off. You change your point of intense focus. Benjamin, will you stop analyzing me and what I'm doing and start analyzing what I'm saying, for God's sake? This is what's called an ad hominem. You are making arguments about the person and not about what I'm saying. It's weak and it's offensive. What type do you think I am, Benjamin? Do you think I'm an ENTP? I don't think you understand how cognitive functions work at all. They're attentional manners. I am paying attention right now by doing what I always do, just talking the shit out in my head. Is it logical? Of course it is. Like the other day I was driving and I was thinking very hard about this whole cognitive function model. And then I was putting in effort. Yeah, when I have to put in a shit ton of TI, it's effort. It's even more effort when I have to put in a shit ton of FE, like if I were schmoozing with somebody and trying to be all polite and everything all the time. That would be even more effort. It would be even more effort if I had to recall a bunch of details. Because that's the order of my cognitive function stack. It's straightforward enough. Oh my God, Captain Knuckles. Maybe I have coronavirus. That explains my itchy anus. Frustrations. Everybody wants to try to I understand that everybody wants to prove themselves against me in some fashion, but I don't want to argue about things that aren't meaningfully resolvable, knowing that somebody's not interested in resolving questions, but rather in just pursuing adversarial rhetoric. I'm not interested in adversarially debating things that don't have definitive conclusions. And it's like, if I'm going to have to be like, well, it's not definitive because I haven't tested the guy, then that's the end of the discussion, frankly. But if you want to talk about, so like a meaningful discussion is Eminem's work more representative of an end user or not? Well, I would say absolutely it is, but it's hard for me to establish exactly why, uh, unless if we disagree on the function definition. If you're going to say extroverted intuition is something other than what it is, then no point in having a conversation, And if you're not, I'll debate you later on it, sure, Taylor. But the debate's going to go like this. I'm going to say, well, we don't agree on the definition. So, sure, fine, Taylor. Put your accidents and scare quotes all you want. It's going to be the same conversation we had before, which is we don't agree on the definition of extroverted intuition. And I'm not going to sit there and try to convince you that it is what it is. I will point out that you're wrong and that we just fundamental disagreement here. Then we're going to each win under our own framework. That's it. Not much else to say. Right. So, I mean, look, is it possible for an ISTP to spend a lot of time writing, be good at writing? Sure. I'm working with an ISTP girl right now on writing, and she's getting better at it. She's my student. She's pretty good at story writing, fiction writing, very NI. Has a good sense of what makes a complete story and how to like foreshadow shit and put stuff in so that it makes sense and all that kind of stuff. It's good. But she also asked me a lot of times for ideas. And when you say, okay, here's your topic, write a paper, and you sort of set her loose on that, she's stuck because, of course, she doesn't come into it with any NI. And so she doesn't know how to kickstart that. If you go into a writing thing with NI, then you've got a good, decent chance of writing something quite good. I still don't think that any ISTP in the world is going to be successful as a freestyle rapper. And the fact that people use SI rhymes in their freestyles is not a response to that. SI and NE are linked. When I freestyle, I don't pull back a lot of rhymes that I've used before, but there are a finite number of words that rhyme with other things. And so I might pull back a little phrase or something like that from the past. Certainly, I will have remembered which words I've used to rhyme with shit before, and etc. Talking on the fly like this and making sense and being cogent and all that stuff. This is my wheelhouse. It's what it means to be an ENTP. When extroverted intuition is a metaphysical ideating action function and an extroverted sensing the physical execution action function, the verbal skills should be attributed to both functions, right? Well, I mean, the thing is, of course, they serve different purposes for the two parties. In other words, extroverted intuition resonates for the SE user, the SE Dom, as something that's in service of SE. So extroverted intuition is a way of getting shit accomplished. Coming up with an idea of something to do or whatever. If Taylor, it's gone. I shit you not. I know it's gone forever because I deleted all those videos forever in order to make room on my hard drive. It's an accident. As I said, it was genuinely an accident. There's no finding them. They are gone forever. I'm not lying about it, and I lament it because obviously with NI fourth, you probably actually think it's possible I did delete them on purpose, which I definitely didn't. So I don't know. I mean, look, Taylor, your NI fourth is head shaking to me sometimes. Like, there was a moment when you were convinced that I was a narcissist and a creep. That's NI fourth. That's some not very strong NI. Yeah, I just need a topic and start talking. Like this morning, I'm under a fair amount of attack, and that's fine. I can handle it. I am an EHB. But the thing is, the other reason why I can handle it and don't mind it is I think of all of this stuff as being training for me, which is to say, I'm learning when and how to engage people about what and when not to, because there's a certain amount of scouting I need to do that I don't typically do. I typically just push through the forest and deal with whatever I encounter as I encounter it without a lot of reference back to any kind of frame. And I need to start doing a little bit more frame referencing as I am now this morning, because Rachel is bouncing back and forth between chat about Eric. He simply reacts to his community. Well, I tend to want to kick everyone's ass who's harshing your morning meal and not bringing a smile to this party. I mean, it's fine. I understand that Taylor wants this debate about Eminem up there. I don't blame him for being unhappy about it being deleted, but if he thinks I'm lying about it, then he doesn't know me, or just, I don't know. And as far as the notion that ISP, Eminem might be an ISP, or that we ought to prioritize the kind of, yeah, I accidentally deleted both of these. I deleted a bunch of videos last night to make room on my hard drive. I was recording audio and noted at the bottom that I was running out of time, space on the hard drive. So I stopped and deleted a bunch of videos and resumed recording. Never thought about it, didn't think anything about it until Taylor mentioned it. And I said, okay, fine, I'll go get it. And looked in the folder and realized, oh shit, I deleted all those videos. So Taylor's at work right now. And so, of course, Taylor's being like, accident, right? Yeah, well, it was an accident. I wouldn't delete it on purpose. There's nothing to be avoid for me. But the thing is, of course, all of this pushback, whatever, dissembling, ground shifting, or just being on different pages entirely because we're not beginning from the same spot or whatever, it does get a little frustrating. People who want to push back against what I'm saying, they don't want to engage in a genuine way about the model. They just want to, I don't know, whatever. I guess here's the thing. I feel somewhat insulted by the reduction of extroverted intuition to chaos or sloppiness or disorder. It's like I've made a shit ton of individual things that are deserving of respect. And the fact that I don't necessarily organize them well is also so. And everybody's got a choice then. Is extroverted intuition responsible for the stuff I respect, or just for the stuff I disrespect, or both? And by telling me it's really only responsible for the stuff that you disrespect, you are, I guess, muddling in a way that's not, it's simply not correct and indicative of basic level ignorance about extroverted intuition. The work I've done on cognitive functions is the result of extroverted intuition paired with TI, but when I'm doing my most TI heavy work, I'm not doubling down on TI. I'm using my dominant tool function as I naturally do. That's why I'm a professional debate coach. Yeah, ISPs don't like surprises. They don't like surprise visits, people they never met before showing up, or rap battles. Okay, so can I be the best at parkour? What are ISTPs really good at? Can I be the best at that? Why can't I be the best at like Overwatch or something? Why can I never really get that good at like PlayStation 4 football or whatever? I mean, I got very good at the strategy part of it, but I never could get very good at the stick skills. Well, there's a reason. Because I have implicit weaknesses that go along with being extroverted intuition, though. But there are implicit strengths as well. So there's a desire to extroverted intuition seems to be one of the most poorly understood functions in general by other people who aren't extrovertedly intuitive. They don't understand that all the work being done matters. They see it as a bunch of sound and fury signifying nothing because they don't value language, basically. Yeah, ISPs tend to have good eye-to-hand coordination. There's lots of things ISTPs do well. My ex's son, Colin, ISTP, he was at a bar one night and his friend started getting hassled by somebody, kind of like attacked or hit or something. And so Colin burst into action, even a skinny guy like me, and one punch knocked the guy out who was protecting his friends. And then, sort of motivated everybody out of there. Bam, 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 on top of shit. Just boom. Can I be better at that than him? SI is easy to understand. SI is a process that both retains impressions of what's happened to you before. In other words, creates your individual storyline. And in the real-time capacity, it understands what your body's feeling and stuff. So when I need relief from my dominant function, what does that mean? Well, it means I need to go back through my old stuff and organize it. I need to cut good parts out of this video so it's not just a big mush of whatever, and it has some sort of NI frame as an object. So when I need relief, it means I'm feeling too scattered out and I need to start coalescing some shit a bit. I need to organize. I need to archive a bit. I need to tag stuff, that kind of maintenance work. That's a relief function for me, is SI. The SI metaphysical is that. It's archiving. Or, in theory, another aspect of SI metaphysical is pulling up examples from the past. Then SI physical is another relief function for me. I need to take a bath, relax, to get a good sleep, yada, yada, yada. I need to delete videos. That'd be one way of archiving. That's that's an SI countervalued way of archiving, by the way. That's very, very consistent with SI countervalued in the 6 for you, Benjamin. Demonstrative SI, you're giving me an SI solution and demonstrative of your countervaluing of SI. So that's funny. Okay, ISTPs are great with physical world surprises. So in other words, at the bar, that kind of surprise, homies punching up on your friend, that kind of surprise, ISTPs are fantastic in being responsive to that kind of surprise. They don't mind those kind of surprises at all. They're tailor-made for those kind of surprises. Their tool function is to observe and be opportunistic in that fashion, and they're going to be the one to handle shit. They don't like verbal surprises. They don't like it when you ask them questions they haven't anticipated. That's for sure. Well, Tom Jickelson, you have established on a number of occasions before that you are wrong. So that's fine. Everybody's coming in trying to be antagonistic this morning. Such is life, such is the nature of being a YouTuber, and people want to come in and attempt to provoke and such. It certainly is their prerogative. But I gotta pee, provocateurs. Come on and touch me there, like lovers do. Down, 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 down. Here come the rains again. Come on and touch me, girl, like lovers do. That means touch on my cock, like my girlfriend does. Oh, urination. Sweet, 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 relieving urination. Relieve me of my need to pee. Relieve it of me now. I did. My urine is ready. I'm ready to drink it now. It's one of the cures I have for itchy anus syndrome. Oh, Winston's mom, relax. My Lord Almighty, there is no pinworms in my anus, okay? It was just a momentary thought this morning because I woke up and my anus was itching and I scratched it and I made it the title. I do not have pinworms. I don't have coronavirus or any other thing wrong with my anus, okay? It is perfectly fine. It's one of the, it was on the list of golden anuses. Somebody else said something about pinworms too. No, it's just a joke. As always. Well, I don't think his life circumstances have forced him to act like an ISTP. I think he simply made determinations about how he wanted to play in interviews and stuff, and what his public persona wanted to be. And being somebody who puts so much of his own life into his music, he doesn't feel any need to convey other things about himself. That he's successfully crafted his FE image as he wants to. He probably doesn't want to have a bunch of stuff like this where, it's like people are adversarial unnecessarily or whatever. And it can be frustrating, I guess. People are, when you're highly successful, like incredibly good at something, people start getting hatey. It just happens. I don't know. The thing is, ENTPs, ISTPs have this reputation for, well, I can practice something and get good at it. Well, ENTPs can too, obviously. We're extremely good at practicing shit and getting better at it. It happens fast. I'm much better now at freestyling than I was a week ago or something because I've been playing that game a lot lately, I freestyle like a 7-year-old. I suppose that the standard is low if you are freestyling and you are 7 years old. And so I must meet only a very low standard of success. I thought I'd advanced at least until 10, only to learn I'm still 7. And when I put all of this time into it, how saddening for me, I feel like a twit. Oh yeah, it's true, I only freestyle like poo. Clouds me words have made me go boo-hoo, 'cause I cannot freestyle like you. Cloud may not be good at freestyling, but it's better than me, because I suck ass while he's just not good, and that's clearly better than you can see. Cloud, yeah, is that right? I'm gonna freestyle like a 7-year-old. I was really sad today when I went out to recess, And Jeannie wouldn't play with me because she said her new dress would get dirty if she played dirt with me in the car. And we had to go inside then, and Mrs. Amber Barr said, "You can't get dirty again or else you'll get in trouble." And then we had a spelling test, but I didn't fill in the right bubbles, and I got a bad grade, and that's why I'm feeling sad. Mommy, now I'm rapping like I'm 7-year-old named Tommy. How about that? Would that be more like what a 7-year-old would rap about, perhaps? Do you think? Is this like that kind of drink? Namely drink made of 7-year-olds raps. Well, Cloud, what do you think about that? I like the way that Cloud throws softballs right over the plate, which I hit far up and over the center field gate. It's fun to freestyle in ways that display how Cloud is wrong. He tells me I freestyle like a 7-year-old, and I ask you, Cloud, really? Are you sure about that? Cloud's not Eminem, but our types are similar. You're fun, you're fun, you're fun, you're fun, you're fun, fun. You make me laugh with your funny, funny fun. You make me crash my car into a bunny bun. Some people think you can change your type to trauma or something like that. But that's like saying crash a car turns into a boat, and that makes no sense at that. Cardboard boxes are less triggered than Cloud by this song. And I suppose Cloud would be less triggered too if he were made out of cardboard and strong. Well, Cloud, what you think? What you think? What you think? Do you want to vogue with me? Because we're voguing today. Yes, we're voguing today. And we're voguing, how do you say? I say, wait, hey, because you see, I'm voguing today. Hey, I'm voguing. Would you like to vogue with me? Come on, everybody, let's vogue together. Come on, everybody, now vogue with me. Put your hands around your head and vogue together. We're voguing, having a voguing party. Come on, everybody, let's vogue. Vogue. I'll read Vogue magazine while I'm voguing, and I'm reading Vogue magazine. Vogue. I said Vogue, motherfuckers. Let's vogue. If you're not voguing, there's something wrong with you. You must be slogan, voguing, and dogging. They haven't helped me much until finding somewhere for me to go for it. Okay, well, why don't you get me on the phone when you go there today, okay? Let me talk to him, all right? Get him that way, all right? This is exactly how Eminem freestyles. He's always talking about how you are wiles, how your minds are wrong, and why you can't go, and that is high. Hobo mojo are pre-written, that's a mistake. You don't understand rap, you don't understand what freestyling's all about, and how you sound the same and that crap. Yeah, sure, you'll pull little phrases from before, that's natural, I do too. You don't recognize them because you're not as familiar as I with all of the shit that I do, but more importantly, they're words that rhyme. There's a limited or finite number of them, but you can find the first vowel sound in a word that rhymes, and that's good enough. Vowel sounds sound like you can match them up tough, and that's exactly what Eminem does, because he's a rapper. He understands you cannot freestyle pre-written, not when somebody throws you words that you got to include in sitting. So for example, in a freestyle contest, he's up there freestyling, and someone's throwing words at him that he's got to include while he's going along like this. So you try. Somebody throw me a word, and I'll include it in the freestyle. That's what's required in a freestyle contest or a battle rap contest that includes freestyles, that freestyling division or whatever. So go ahead, try it. Let's show you what he actually has to do to compete in those freestyling contests. Show me a word, a noun or something. One word. Wardrobe. You'd be rapping along with it. In a wardrobe where I store more probes and glue cubes and strobe lights too, and it's like you gotta incorporate it into the rap as you're going along. If I were to start rapping this thing and we were throwing words, I could be able to do it too. I can't sort of start with it like that. I need a second to think about it. But that's exactly what Eminem has to do. And any freestyle rapper does. If I go along and say, hey, listen, cuz I'm freestyle rapping today. I need to be throwing words so I can know which direction to stay away from and which one to go to, because the word that you provide is important too. Well, then I take wardrobe and say, hey, it's a wardrobe. What rhymes with wardrobe? I could store mobe. Mobe's not a word, so I could store clove. Clove's not a word, so I could store bobe. Bobe's not a word, so I could store show. Now, wardrobe's a good choice because it's not a word I can think immediately of a lot of rhyming words for. But strobe light comes to mind as it did eventually after I strove finding a rhyme that was a word, which I should do because otherwise my rap is a turd pie stew, and that's not delicious and not fun to eat. Nobody wants to have fishes in their meat. I think a Medi-Cal location. I'm guessing I'll be using California's Medicaid. Well, California's got free health care, whatever, that sort of thing indeed. So we'll have to organize that. We'll have to set it up. Indeed, we'll have to do that when you first arrive and make sure that process is in motion, because there's no way you're going to get our kind of pride. I can't buy all the medications for cash. I'm sure they're quite expensive, So, okay, make a rap about typology. Everybody has typology stereotypes. Everybody thinks that an INTJ is super awkward and robotic and doesn't know how to engage with anyone anyway. Everybody thinks ISTJ is like a Boy Scout and they are always prepared, never without the thing they need there when the occasion occurs that they have the need. Everybody says an INFJ is like a magical person who looks inside your soul and say, hey, there's your soul. I see clearly it, and you're lying to me, I bet. And everybody thinks that an ENFJ only wants to give advice to everyone every day, saying, hey, throw your past away. I'm an ENFJ. Smile and say, wee, I love everything. Everyone's nice. Everything's good. Everything's perfect too. And the ENFJ hood suits you if you are an ENFJ. Everybody says INTPs can't decide if their needs are bees or fleas, and they will slip into nihilism, because they don't have a reason to please anybody without that occasional doubt that trips into their talk, telling everybody they haven't established enough about what they're trying to establish tough. It's okay. It's okay. Yada, 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 yada. C.S. Joseph diss track, huh? That's a kind of fun idea. Dissing C.S. Joseph in a song probably wouldn't earn a strike, I bet. C.S. Joseph doesn't know how to whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's like an MC battle between typologists. Not a bad idea. So here we go. Everybody thinks an ENFP sleeps around with everybody that they see. Whether they're a girl, they sleep with every boy that they know, or a boy who's going out and being a hoe. Nobody is sure about that, but that's the stereotype that they've got to tack on top of other thoughts about them. Indeed, indeed. Everybody says about a what? Everybody says about a who? Everybody says about a where, what a wow, what a way, wow, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. How about everybody says about an ESTP that they slay that push, and they're slaying it tweet, and they're going around and they're touching on the button saying, hey there, girl, you want to get some hump? And then they go and get cocaine. smear upon their mucous membrane, and after they are all coked up, they do very bad freestyling. I can't rap as fast as my mind goes because of the background noise called blues moose, and my rhymes are itchy anus golden dimes. They make me famous all the time. Honestly, no joke, CSJ has more extroverted intuition than Eric does. No joke. You're not joking. You're serious. You're serious. Cloud is serious. He's not joking. CS Joseph is more than a token. There's an E in him. He's an any dom. You can tell because he's always rapping and playing wrong. Indeed, he's bouncing around. And Cloud found sperm in his cloud. He said his MBT op is sperm. He said his sperm is worms. WM, and after this, brown fingers. Don't touch me with your brown fingers. I don't got brown fingers. Gee, I had some pants between my anus and my finger. That's why it doesn't get all brown and the poop doesn't linger on top of it. I'm doing the itchy anus dance. You too. Okay, everybody vote. Now, everybody vote. If you're not voting, what's wrong with you? I said everybody vote. Yes, everybody vote. If you're not voting, you aren't voting. Everybody vote. Put your hands around your head and vote your face like a square instead. Round instead. It's square because you're voting it up all over here. Now vote. Come on now, vote. Everybody now vote. You just aren't voting hard enough. Vote, 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 vote. You're just not voting hard enough. The sperm carries the ego. I like that, actually. You know, C.S. Joseph occasionally gets that nut that the blind squirrel deserves is occasionally, right? Like the clock is twice a day. And on this one, he got a bit of NI in the mix there because I got to a guy that sperm carries the ego. Yo, sperm carries the ego. So get over here, girl, because I got too much ego and I need to get humbler now. You see? And if sperm carries the ego, then time for me to rub one out. Well, I'm not going to rub it. I'll let it come out in the more natural way by putting it in your mouth. Well, I'm not a psychopath. No, is he a Joseph one? Well, that's Cloud's accusation, but I wouldn't take it too seriously, son. Because I've got some ego in me. Now I'm going to spill it in my seed, into your badge, up in there. Fill it up all with gooey air. There, now I'm done. Humble again. Thank God. Too much ego in my testicles. Come here, girl. Help humble me. Humble my ass. Put me in my place. This is kind of a cool guitar rhythm, but I think I'm going to switch it up to the other one, like this one right here. Instead, let's try this one. And this one's fun. Let's see what it sounds like if this one's done. Here we go. This one instead. Piao and piao. Look, ladies, your ovaries are just there to be pictured by my sperm. That's the reason they exist. My child's identity is within my sperm. My sperm is very gigantic, it seems. I can fit a lot of stuff inside of it. Here, have some sperm. Here, have some sperm. Would you like some sperm? I've gotten you some sperm. Here, have some sperm. Here's a cup of man seed. Here, have some sperm. You want some sperm, don't you? Here, have some sperm. I think CSJ is probably an ESTJ, not an ESFJ. Though I agree he's NI blind. That's true. I'm not disputing that. This beat is a little bit, yeah. It's called Loop of Sleeping Kitty. Why is it called that? I guess I was looking at the cat when I named it. Would be my guess. That'd be my guess. That'd be my guess. Let's try this one. This one's a little bit better. That's mean of Aristotle. Talk about a disincentive for making your woman satisfied. Don't disincentivize woman satisfaction. I was thinking about Socrates the other day after you mentioned Bundo's mom. I considered how he never wrote down anything. He needed attention from his SI relief function. The Ursa archive ought not be entirely ignored then, Mom. And he probably regretted it. He wished that he'd kept a record. Assuredly, he thought later how a wasted opportunity to keep a record of my being. I think that getting pregnant is something to avoid generally. So I would hate to think that there was disincentive to pleasure the sheep. If you don't want having children, then you could justify being even more selfish. What? Call me, Rachel. When are you going to this thing? Shoot your man seed into my spine. Shoot your man seed into my spine. Shoot some man seed into my spine. Use a very, very large syringe. Shoot some man seed into my spine. Shoot some man seed into my spine. Shoot some man seed into my spine. Use a very, very large syringe. I'm full of super, super, super good ideas. Like shooting man seed in my spine. Get me syringe, fill it up with semen, then shoot it in my spine. That's a good idea all of the time. Okay. Cloud, have I ever mentioned that you are an adventure in learning? You really are. You are an exciting adventure in learning. So, Rachel, what I'm going to do is call you in this stream right now. I'm going to call you on the Google Hangouts. Then I'm going to talk to you about how I want to be incorporated into this. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to eat blue energies.